South Florida overall is currently undergoing a large amount of new condo construction, with the epicenter being downtown Miami. So where are we at in the cycle? What inning, and how does it differ from Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties?
There's been migration, particularly of the workforce of young people, young executives, into the urban cores because they want to live in the urban cores and no longer in the suburbs. And there's a shift from dependence on foreign buyers into a lot of U.S. buyers from other American cities seeking weather or a better tax environment. Let's face it, that's probably the most important one. But if I had to define how it affects design, this new market that I see evolving, I see who buys in our projects, is leading possibly to the design on the residential side of smaller units, on the office side of a flexible space.
And again, this is geared for millennials, and what people say about millennials, which I've come to realize, is that the millennials are much more interested in experiences than things and possessions, and they'd rather, climb a great mountain than buy an extra 5 pairs of jeans. And that's why West Palm Beach, which is a very young population, if you go spend time downtown, you don't see a lot of, blue-haired old ladies there. And those kinds of folks, I think, just love the idea of a compact little apartment.
And you mentioned downtown, so that's a big part of the overall 50,000 units on the drawing board in Florida. I think 18,000 are under construction or completed. If developers were to build that remaining 32,000, it seems like the market, you could potentially have something like you had last cycle. Is there any pressure that developers get, or, as brokers, you mentioned them, or as architects, or among each other, that says don't build too much?
Well, as a matter of fact, in the last few months, we have seen 5 projects that they were canceled, some that were postponed, and the construction deadline has been spread out over time. All the things are very positive signs for the market because it's diminishing the supply, especially when we're considering downtown or Edgewater or Miami. You see that most of the original buyers, they bought these units in order to rent them in the future. If you deliver so many units at the same time, while the supply it is discrete, the demand is a continuous. So I believe that what's going on in the market, and it was mostly triggered by the currency devaluation crisis that affected most of our feeder markets. I think it was positive, because if we will continue to bring to the market all the supply that we were bringing, it will be leading to an oversupply market.
There's been a push to identify anonymous foreign buyers, whether it's the new U.S. Treasury Department rules or the Panama Papers leak even. Is that having any effect on foreign buyers, or is that something that's not really?
I think foreign buyers are still here. I mean, the latest DDA report says that they predict that it's a 50% decline from 2 years ago, probably principally because of the currency. That doesn't mean they're gone for good. They are still here and they are still buying. I'm sure that this investigation and the ability to look at these shell corporations will peel off some buyers, but I don't think it's the vast majority of people we see here.
Last question, anybody can answer this. What surprises you most about the market right now?
It's very active. I think after a long, and I think someone alluded to it earlier, the season was a little sluggish. September, October, November, December into January were very slow. February, March, and so far in April, pendings are picking up. I think that if there's a lesson, especially in the resale market, that people learned from the last downturn is probably to correct faster. And so I think that you see that in the numbers, that new inventory is coming on at a more attractive price, and it's being snapped up because the buyers are still out there.
I believe that when there is a small blip, suddenly you see a level of pessimism in some people that it doesn't justify. I mean, having myself being from South America, I have experienced many, many times these devaluations. I'll tell you, usually what happens is countries go through that and prices start increasing internally to the point where people within 6 months to a year, they get used to the new reality.